Hey everybody, it's Jason Blaha here. Now that my 2 informative videos are done for the day, it's time to talk about current events in the online fitness community. And considering that one of the videos I did today was about asking the question, are we only as strong as our weakest lift? Had some subscribers aware me of Kenobi's newest video. So let me put on my +5 out of weaponsmithing. Work on skilling my crafting a little bit, and let's talk about this. And, it was an interesting video, just the title alone, and it kind of fits in with our theme of joking about Kenobi being the Bruce Wayne of the fitness community. That's what he terms himself. And me saying, I'll just assume the role of Bane. Because this video, like much of what he does, was mainly about theatrics. So you guys know what's coming. You guys know what quote's coming. Here it comes. Theatricality and deception are powerful agents against the uninitiated. But we are initiated, aren't we, Bruce? Because that's what it was, theatricality. Now, he tried to reference that, he's developed skills throughout his career to reference that movie Taken, which I haven't seen. I know the reference, but I haven't actually seen the movie. Probably go check that out. I hear it's a pretty good movie, actually. But that's what he tried to reference. But the funny thing is that actually all of his skills are basically just stolen and paid for. Meaning his skills are the fact that he's got money for advertising. He has family money to market himself because his father passed away, was a very wealthy man. Left his mother and his family a lot of money. He's used that to market himself. Not really anything special in his training. All he did was water down Martin Burkham stuff. And that's the thing. He jumps around and plays and pretends like he's a fighter and a martial artist and an athlete. But, here's the thing. Nothing that he does would actually match anything if he wanted to be a superhero or he wanted to be a warrior of any type. There's no weapons training. And the worst part, there's almost no lower body training. It's all upper body. I'm not saying there aren't some decent upper body lifts in what he does. I mean, he does standing presses. I'll give him that. Wish more fitness YouTubers would do standing presses. He does weighted chin-ups. Pretty good exercises, right? Now, his incline benching, is the way he does it, is dangerous, and I can't really endorse any of his chest pressing because he performs them like a moron. But, at least he does standing presses and weighted chin-ups. But the thing is that everything with him is theatrics. It's all style, no substance, just like the physiques that he promotes. He says, yeah, you've got to build the upper chest and the lats, and the shoulders, because that's what people notice. Yeah, that is what people notice, but that's kind of what he does. He doesn't really train his lower body. Makes some play efforts towards it, but it hasn't been serious. And that's the thing. After I called him out on being weak, because he came over and tried to say he was stronger than me. Kind of video I did earlier today was about we're only as strong as our weakest lift. He tries to actually do some big barbell movements that use the lower body, and he has no strength. He has novice level strength. Novice level strength, what, a 265 front squat, 400 deadlift? No chalk, hashtag no chalk. I have kids running my free novice program who are passing those numbers after a year in the gym. Let that sink in. I got high school kids who run my free programs who are stronger than that on those lifts. In other words, he trains the show muscles. And even then, he struggles to do a lot of that right now. He's pretty strong on weighted chin-ups. I will give him that. I won't take credit away from where credit's due. Guy's pretty good on weighted chins. That explains why he's got biceps, right? Explains why he's got biceps. Because that's what Martin Burkham always said, who he took his stuff from. Martin Burkham always said, you get really strong on weighted chin-ups, and it's impossible for you not to have biceps. Well, there you have it. Even a guy who's a fluff and pumper like Kenobi is proving that he's got biceps, right? Weighted chin-ups work. But, the thing that bothers me is that everything else is just all show, and he doesn't know how to perform the lifts, right? He talks about upper chest, but he takes one of the best upper chest exercises and skips the upper chest on it, like the strict press. The strict press, people are like, well, he's as strong as you on the strict press. No, he doesn't do the full lift. I do my heavy work sets with 190 also right now on the street press, but I pause on my chest. And notice I actually have an upper chest. And no, guys, that's not fat. You can't flex fat, all right? It's not how that works. I'm not saying I don't have more body fat than he does, but that is actually muscle up there. Because I actually pause and touch the chest. And that's the thing, guys. If you wanted to use an exercise like that to its greatest effect, you would do full range of motion. He doesn't. Takes one of the greatest exercises of all time that I really wish was promoted more. Doesn't lock the top. Doesn't touch the chest at the bottom. He just does the middle. You know, and it really doesn't even match the sort of goals. And that's the problem. You know, the guy doesn't even understand the things that he tries to teach. And he doesn't train legs effectively. So, I mean, if you want to talk about being some sort of fighter or superhero or whatever he portrays himself as, I want to see a 700-pound deadlift. I want to see a 600-pound squat. You know, if someone tells me that they want to be a brutally powerful superhero, I want to see those numbers. I think that's a reasonable expectation. That's what a superhero has. Look at the physiques of superheroes. In the comic books, they all have massive thighs. Right? They have massive thighs. I look at those guys and I think that guy can squat 600 pounds. But see, he's only style, no substance. Same thing, his special skills. He doesn't eat breakfast. He does intermittent fasting. I'm not saying intermittent fasting is a bad thing, guys, but it's been overhyped lately. Truth be told, and this is again what study after study after study has shown, and even people are talking about, they want to sound like Dr. Noon, I'm wrong. You must initiate the autophagy. You guys, I've mocked him a lot. He's funny. Look, all the data that we've seen on that, all the experts out there who also have PhDs have said, hey, that's promising. Yes, there are things going on with autophagy and fasting, but it doesn't seem to be the fasting directly. It's a correlation. The best that we can tell at this point is because it gives better caloric control. In other words, it's easier for people who follow generally whole food diets who do intermittent fasting to eat less calories. It's caloric restriction that has to do with some of that. And it's the same thing with the weight loss. There have been close clinical trials run on this stuff in the metabolic ward. You guys know how intermittent fasting helps with fat loss? Because that's what he says. It helps with fat loss and cellular repair, cellular recovery. It helps with fat loss because it's easier to control caloric intake. That is what the studies are showing. There's not a metabolic advantage. Meaning if you eat 2,500 calories of a given set of carbs, fat, and protein, you're going to lose the same amount of fat whether you do intermittent fasting or you spread it out over 6 meals. Okay? You need to understand that. That is what the research shows, is that for some people, it seems to help with caloric control. And I'm not going to say it doesn't. It does. We all know people out there who have great success using it as a caloric control tool. But we also know for a fact you gain less muscle when you do it. So if your goal is to gain muscle, it is going to slow that down. It helps with fat loss if it helps you control your calories. And some people it does, and some people it doesn't. If you happen to be one of those people, and it might be a valuable tool in your fat loss toolbox, and by all means carry on. But it's not magic. And same thing, talking about cellular repair, it's speculative. We don't have good evidence of that. And that's the thing, you know, why is this kid talking about all this repair? He doesn't need to worry about recovery. He doesn't train that hard. He doesn't train that much. It's not a big deal. You know, same thing. I believe in training 3 days a week. Hey, I think full body training 3 days a week is pretty good for most people too. In fact, I recommend 90% of novice lifters train that way, right? But you're only training your upper body. It's not like you're getting the full benefits out of it. A person who's only training half their body, and I'm sorry, doing some pistol squats once a week, or a couple sets of light front squats once a week, is not going to cut the mustard. In other words, you're training your upper body 3 days a week, not really training your whole body. If you were coming in and doing 3 to 5 heavy sets of squats and you did deadlifts every one of those workouts before your upper body, I will agree. 3 days a week is fantastic for full body training. But mostly upper body, some reverse pyramid training, come on. Honestly, at that point, we actually are talking about suboptimal training. That is suboptimal training at that point. You're going to make slower gains from that. Again, if you're only going to train 3 days a week, the only way that works in ideal situations is if you are doing a fairly heavy full body workout, meaning you need to be squatting every time you're in the gym. That's the 3 day a week programs that actually work. If you're not training like that, you probably do need to be on some 4 day split. Some cases a 5 day. Most likely though a 4 day, depending upon the person. If you're only going to train your legs twice a week, you have no business only training 3 days a week. And people say, well, I don't want to. It's fine if you don't want to train more than that, but let's not pretend that it is going to build maximum size or strength, because it won't. And that's the thing, guys. Everything that he's promoting is watered down versions of Martin Berkman stuff still. It's not anything special. There's nothing magical about it, guys. Fasting to control your calories. Doing some heavy work on big compounds. But again, he's only training half the body. He has no lower body. And outside of his pressing, he's not particularly strong. I'm not saying his pressing's bad. It's not. But we're not talking superhero strength here. And the thing is, it's just half of his body. He has no lower body strength. The guy deadlifts 400 pounds. How can a guy who's strong on weighted chin-ups only deadlift 400 pounds? Like, to be fair, if his lower body was proportionately strong to his upper, a 500-pound deadlift wouldn't be particularly strong for his matching his upper body strength. That's perspective, guys. That's putting it in perspective. That would be on the lower end. We can't do that. Can't do that. It's all style, no substance. And that's what we have to point out with this stuff. People need to understand this. It's all style. Because anyone who really knows what they're looking at with training knows that basically he's marketing to a bunch of insecure teenage boys who are hoping maybe they'll get some girls if they get his results. And that's what it comes down to at the end of the day. There's nothing special there. What Kenobi has is marketing. That's the skills that he's learned, is marketing. And the marketing he's doing isn't that great. It's just because he's got money. He can afford to market. His family has money. That's his magic secret. And I'm not hating for that. I mean, hey, some people are born with advantages in this world. That's the real world. He's born into money. He's got money to market himself. That's his special skill. That's it. There's nothing particularly impressive about any of his training knowledge, diet knowledge, anything else. It's below average. Again, other than, hey, he promotes weighted chin-ups and standing presses. That's pretty good. He promotes caloric control. That's pretty good. That's about all he's got going. And I mean, those are a good start. But I would hope that no one's paying for that. Alright guys, well that's really all I have to say on that today. I hope it's been informative, and I will talk to you guys next time.